Hello everyone, and welcome to a beginner's lesson on using Git commands. My name is Caleb, one of your teaching assistants under Dr. B for Digit 100, and I'm here to give you a crash course / practical use examples for you to follow along with at home. Now in this video, we'll be going over some basic commands, how to navigate through directories, and how to create / edit files within Git Bash. Now let's jump right into it. For our first command, we'll be using ls, which stands for lookc. Now if we press return, it'll give us all of the files / folders within our current directory. Now, let's say you might be asking yourself, what current directory are we in? Well, there's actually a command for that. If we type in pwd, or print working directory, and press return, it'll give us our current file pathing within our folders. Now, if you're still a little bit confused by that, let's go into File Explorer and explain from there. So if we look at C, users, cal16, we have our storage C, users, cal16, and it'll show the same exact files and folders that we have listed here on Git Bash. All right, now that we have that cleared up, let's practice changing directories. So if we ever want to change a directory, we can type cd in the name of that directory. For this example, let's use the GitHub directory. So we type in cd space GitHub, and keep in mind that it is case sensitive, so make sure to capitalize or do not capitalize whenever you're trying to find your directory. Now let's press return, and you can see that we're inside of our GitHub directory here. Let's type ls and look inside. We have a different set of directories here. Let's keep practicing changing directories, and let's go to sandbox. Let's type cd sandbox and press return. Take a look inside, different directory. Now let's say if we didn't want to be in sandbox, or we went into the wrong directory down the line and we wanted to go back to our previous one. All we have to do is type cd space ... press return, and you can see that we're back in our GitHub one. Now let's also say if you didn't want to keep typing cd space ... or ls or cd sandbox, let's go to our arrow keys and type up. There you can see that it keeps your previous recorded command line that you've used, and keeps the entire history of it as well. If you were to ever exit out of Git Bash and worried about losing whatever previous commands, don't worry about it, because it'll save all of your previous commands, no matter even if you quit out. All right, now let's practice one more time, cd space ... and go back to our home. Now let's also say, if we want to look for a specific one, and we know it has quite a long name, like this one for instance, we actually don't have to type out the entire thing. We can also just do cd space, type the first few characters, and press tab. It'll actually autofill it for us. All right, now let's go back to our GitHub directory, cd GitHub. And now let's make our own directory inside of GitHub. In order to do this, we can type mkdir for make directory, and we also have to name it in the same line. So for this example, we'll be calling it, let's say, this directory. Let's take a look inside. And you can see right here that has created our own directory and put it inside of GitHub. Let's take a look inside, go over to it, cd this directory, take a look, and it's got nothing in it since we just created it. Now let's fill it with something. Now, in order to create our own files within Git Bash, we can use the visual text editor, excuse me. In order to use that, we just have to type vi, and then we can create our own file right here. Now you can create XML, you can create HTML or TXT. For this example, we will be using TXT. So you also give it a name. Let's name it text.txt, classic. Press enter, and now we're in our text editor. Now we can just type whatever we want and fill it. Let's type hello world. And in order to get out of this text editor, all we have to do is press escape, : WQ. press return, and we're back here. Let's see if we can find that text. Go into our File Explorer, GitHub, find our newly made directory, this directory, and there we go. Here's our text.txt. All right, that's going to do it for this video today. I hope you've learned a little bit more about what are basic commands that we use for Git, what also we can do to navigate around in our directories, and how to create/edit files straight within Git Bash. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.